Welcome to Honeybee. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell. Real stories of love, lies, and betrayal, where every truth stings. Let's begin. My name is Lucas, and this is the story of how I learned the hard way that sometimes the person you love the most can take you for granted until it's far too late. Sophie and I met in our early 20s. Back then, we were inseparable. One of those couples people would look and say, yeah, they're perfect for each other. Our love felt effortless. Late night drives, endless deep conversations. It was just the two of us, completely lost in one another. When we got married, it felt like the most natural thing in the world. We had big dreams, traveling together, building a life, maybe starting a family someday. And for a while, it really was perfect. But life has a way of testing you. I was building my business from scratch, putting in long hours and making sacrifices. But no matter how busy I was, Sophie was always my top priority. I made sure she felt valued. Little surprises, random date nights, sitting down with her at the end of a long day just to talk. At first, she cherished it. She was proud of me, supportive, and my biggest cheerleader. But slowly, things changed. It started with small complaints. She wanted more me time, said she needed to focus on herself. I supported it. Everyone needs space to grow, but it became something different. She started saying she was going to put herself first. At first, I thought she meant self-care, reading, exercising, doing things that made her happy. That wasn't what she meant. What she really meant was doing whatever she wanted, regardless of how it affected our marriage. She stopped trying, stopped caring about our plans, stopped asking about my day. But she still expected me to treat her like she was the center of my world. It was as if she wanted all the benefits of marriage without actually being a wife. I told myself it was just a rough patch. Every marriage has ups and downs, right? So I did what any loving husband would do. I tried harder. I avoided fights as much as possible. If something bothered me, I'd try to talk about it calmly. But when it turned into an argument, I swallowed it down instead of escalating. I started surprising her with gifts. Flowers, perfume, even that expensive handbag she'd been eyeing for months. Anything to remind her that I cared. But nothing changed. She'd thank me, but it felt empty. No real excitement, no appreciation. Just a half-hearted smile before she went back to scrolling on her phone. Then one day, she told me she needed space, that she needed to find herself. I didn't question it. I thought maybe she just needed time to figure things out. So I gave her exactly what she asked for. I stopped pulling her close. I let her go out more, gave her nights away, let her do whatever she felt she needed. But months later, nothing had improved. She became more distant, more self-absorbed, like she was the main character in some story where I was just a background prop, someone who existed to serve her, not to be loved by her. She began to act like she deserved better, like being with me was settling. And I won't lie, that hurt. I watched the woman I fell in love with slip further and further away because she convinced herself she could do better. When you love someone who no longer values you, it messes with your head. You start doubting yourself, wondering if maybe they're right. Maybe you're not enough. I spent countless nights lying awake, staring at the ceiling, trying to figure out what changed. What did I do wrong? When did I stop being enough? But deep down, I already knew the truth. No matter how much I loved her, I couldn't save someone who didn't want to be saved. And I wasn't sure how much longer I could pretend things were okay. Then came the night that changed everything. I had been waiting up for hours, staring at the clock, listening to cars pass by outside. It wasn't the first time Sophie had come home late, but something about that night felt different. When the door finally opened, I let out a slow breath, trying to steady my emotions. I didn't want to fight. I didn't have the energy. She stumbled in, the smell of alcohol hitting me before I even turned my head. She barely acknowledged me, tossed her bag onto the couch, kicked off her shoes. I swallowed my frustration and asked quietly, "Sophie, do you even realize what you're doing? This isn't just about coming home late. You're pushing me away. I've been patient, but you're not acting like you're married anymore." She rolled her eyes like I had just said the most ridiculous thing in the world. Then, With a smirk, she laughed. "Oh, please," she scoffed. "You think I need you? You think you're that special? There are plenty of men who want me. If you leave, I'll replace you tomorrow." Her words hit like a punch to the chest, but I didn't let it show. She straightened up. "I'm done living by your rules. I'm done living by anyone's rules. This is my life, and neither you nor society is going to tell me how to live it. I'm in my baby girl era now, Lucas. Deal with it or don't." That was the moment I knew I had lost her. Or maybe she had lost me. I didn't yell. I didn't beg. What was the point? She had already chosen who she wanted to be. So I did the only thing I could. I let her go. The next morning, I called the best divorce lawyer I could find. I didn't want to fight. I didn't want drama. I just wanted a clean break. The process moved quickly. No kids, no battles over furniture or money. I didn't even show up to the final meeting. My lawyer handled it all. And once the papers were signed, I did what I had promised myself I would do. I disappeared. No calls, no texts, no emotional goodbye. I was just gone. At first, she didn't seem to care. If anything, she looked relieved, like this was her fresh start. I saw her social media posts. Out with friends, drinks in hand, living like she had just won her freedom. Captions about new beginnings and knowing your worth. She jumped back into dating almost immediately. There were plenty of men happy to entertain her, but it wasn't the kind of attention she expected. The men chasing her weren't looking for commitment, just a good time. And the ones who did want something serious, they weren't the kind of men she wanted. I wasn't there to see it all, but word got back to me through mutual friends. She cycled through relationships, one after another, nothing lasting. And slowly, the confidence she used to flaunt began to crack. For the first time, she was alone, not by choice, but because she had pushed away the one person who truly loved her. And me? I wasn't looking back. After the divorce, I had a choice. I could have drowned myself in flings, distractions, meaningless highs. But I didn't want that. I had lost myself in a marriage where I wasn't seen. Now it was time to choose myself. So I did. I poured everything into my business, rebuilding and expanding what I had created from the ground up. Work became more than just work. It became proof that I was still capable, still strong. And slowly, it paid off. My business grew faster than I imagined. For the first time in years, I felt in control again. I focused on my health, mentally and physically. I went back to the gym, started eating better, sleeping better, taking care of myself. I accepted that some people will never value you, no matter how much you give. I refused to settle for anything that didn't bring real value to my life. I learned to be alone without being lonely, and slowly I flourished. That, more than anything, was my greatest win. Years passed. One day, I was running errands, picking up a few things at a store, when I saw her, Sophie, standing just a few feet away, staring at me like she had seen a ghost. For a moment, I barely recognized her. She still looked good. She always took care of herself, but her expression was different. Her eyes scanned me before she finally spoke, her voice soft and unsure. "Lucas." I nodded, offering a polite smile. "Hey, Sophie. Been a while." She tucked a strand of hair behind her ear, nervous. "Wow. You look different." I shrugged. "Yeah, life's been good." She started asking questions. How I'd been, what I'd been up to. I kept my answers light, casual. I wasn't rude, but I also wasn't giving her what she wanted. After a few minutes, she smiled awkwardly. "Maybe we could catch up sometime?" I smiled back. "Yeah, maybe." But I knew we wouldn't. That chapter of my life was closed. A few days later, she reached out. It started with a casual message. "Hey, it was nice seeing you." I hesitated before replying, but eventually I did, and slowly, the conversation picked up. Nothing deep, nothing emotional, just small talk, nostalgia creeping in where anger used to live. Over the next few weeks, we texted on and off, and as much as I wanted to deny it, the feelings were still there. You don't just stop loving someone overnight. But I came to realize that love alone wasn't enough. The trust was gone. Then one evening, She asked if we could meet for dinner, just to talk. Part of me wanted to say yes. I was tempted. But then I asked myself the question I'd been avoiding all this time. What was the point? Was I looking for an apology? An explanation? A second chance to fix something broken beyond repair? No. Deep down, I knew the truth. I didn't need her to give me closure. I needed to give it to myself. So I declined, not out of anger, just calm truth. I don't think that's a good idea. It took me a long time to admit it. But Sophie had done more damage than I realized. Not just by leaving, but by making me feel replaceable before she did. Like I was never enough. At first, I told myself I was fine, buried myself in work, the gym, friends. But no matter how much I tried to distract myself, there was still a weight in my chest. I knew if I didn't deal with it, it would follow me forever. So I did something I never thought I'd do. I went to therapy. At first, it felt strange opening up to a stranger about everything I had been carrying. But week after week, I started seeing things more clearly. I wasn't foolish for loving Sophie. I wasn't weak for trying to save our marriage. I was just a man who gave his heart to the wrong person. And that wasn't a failure, it was a lesson. Healing wasn't instant. It came in small moments, little steps. I burned every bridge with Sophie. No more texts, no more small talk, no more what-ifs. Before I deleted her number, I sent one last message, not out of spite, just honesty. I wish you the best. For a long time, I believed the only way to move on from someone who hurt you was to get even, to prove they had lost something valuable. But I learned something along the way. Revenge is a waste of energy. Sometimes, the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's moving forward, becoming the best version of yourself, and letting them watch from a distance. And that's exactly what I did. That's it for today's story. Tell me what you think in the comments. Have you ever been through something like this? How did you handle it? If you enjoyed this, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more real-life stories. Until next time, take care